Welcome back to Daily Wrap, everybody. So are your teens lazy? That might sound like a loaded question because most parents think that their kids are lazy. But I'm talking more about kids working, or rather not working, during their summer break. And since 2000, the percentage of teens, get your calculator out for this one, with summer jobs has dropped roughly 45% to only 26%, 1 in 4 teens working. So if you look back to the 1950s and 60s, the good old days, the percentage of working teens was roughly around 60%. Now it's about Xboxes and then the phone and who knows. So is it a matter of laziness, lack of jobs, prepping for college? What's the deal? Reverend Jenny, let's start with you.
You know, I'm going to go in defense of the millennials and below, and I'm going to say with globalization and technology, less and less teens, at least in a certain subset, are willing to flip burgers for less than minimum wage during the summer. They are already targeting the tech company that they want to work for after college or grad school, and they're going and working there for free during the summer. Or they're doing volunteer work, or they're traveling the world and doing hands-on learning, or they're, starting their own companies.
You're being very generous.
People are doing online entrepreneurialism, but there are a lot of stories about kids who are doing things like that. So,
did you have a job growing up? You sound like you didn't.
I did.
Oh, you did?
I was a ballet teacher. However, my dad grew up really poor and didn't get to go to college. He went for 1 semester. So while I was in college, what he said to me was, I don't want you to work, I want you to focus on school. Now, I snuck off and got a job anyway because I wanted extra money. I hustled a little.
That's right, good.
But, I think there's also generational changes from our grandparents to our parents to kids today and what they're trying to do and what their goals are.
I got to go with the generational issue. I think after the World War II generation, it's all been downhill from there. I mean, I think we've all heard like our grandparents and our parents' stories. Like my mom, when she got here from Cuba, she took a bus in the hot sun every day, 3 buses to go work at a factory and 3 buses back. And I remember growing up, and I mean, even what teens would say now, they'd be horrified. I just thought, I don't think I could ever do that. And I really think it's an issue of American individualism and that spirit and that typical American hard work ethic morality dwindling, because we've become this Kardashian technology-based generation that's very materialistic and gimme, 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 and what can the country do for me?
I think a lot of it has to do with parental expectations, though, as well, because my kids always have worked. Now, my youngest is 15, but she babysat last year in the summer.
Tax-free money.
Pretty much, and she did really well.
What did she charge per hour?
Really well, too.
What did she charge per hour?
Actually, $10 an hour.
That's
Really?
pretty good.
Right, that's off the books. That's it. Yeah.
Does she live in Jersey?
No, she doesn't.
Because my charge is $12 an hour.
But the thing is that whether it was my son worked at the nursery and it was in the summer, it was carrying the plants and that kind of thing, or my other daughter worked at the church rectory. Always having, and they were not making a lot of money, but the point was they had the responsibility of being somewhere, of making their own money and using, if they wanted something, using that money and understanding the value of the dollar. And we always felt that, no, this is what you do. When you get a little older, yes, you want to have an internship, I understand that. But I cannot overestimate the value of having jobs like that for young kids.
Well, and I think that particular study was kids between 16 and 19 years old. And it leaves out a lot of information about what the nuances are. But, I do think there's something to be said, like you were saying, AJ, about generational things. My mother would always say, you're going to stand on the shoulders of the generation before you. And the idea was always make it better for you and then make it better for you. And, there's a fine line between that and then the expectations of the upcoming generations.
See, I was selfish though. I wanted money. All right, when I'm 17 years old, I paid for my own.
We have credit cards now.
Yeah. I paid for my own car.
That's the parent's fault, though.
It
If they
is.
have the credit card, that's the parent.
And you're all very expensive, by the way, even at 17. So when I'm a single guy and I got my very used, very old BMW, right? I want to take her out to a movie or something like that. So I was dumb enough to go work at Friendly's. All right? Now let me tell you a little about Friendly's, okay? Besides the ridiculous outfit that they make you wear, they combine orange and yellow and all these stripes and everything. Not only do you take the order, you have to make the order. Not the food,
So
but
you
the
learn
ice
a
cream.
lot of skills.
Skills. The place is packed, right? And I got to do 3 scoops of this, and then the whipped cream, and everything else like that,
Multitasking, okay.
right? And then here's the worst part. You know what the clientele is of Friendlies? Let me fill you in. All right, it's
like it.
old people. All right, and it's teenagers. You know what they have in common? They don't tip. All right, so I was making $2.25 an hour, and then my tips were like 65 cents.
See, there was no reason for you to do that. You could have gone and done an internship.
But which I did also on top of that, but I learned
Right.
one thing. The value of $1, and
Yeah.
never, ever will my daughter work at Friendlies. I will tell you that right now, and I hope they don't
Yeah.
sponsor this show. So
I
that's
think there's a
that.
little bit to do with technology too, though. Like, hasn't
Right.
that made them a little bit lazy as well? They could just sit home on the iPad instead of being out and about
That's true.
networking.
That's true. Well,
Yeah.
we gotta wrap it up right here. We're all working. So coming up next, political potluck. This is the Daily Wrap from New York, and it's only on Newsmax TV.